Good morning. I greet you in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. We come together this day to say farewell to our friend, his earthly farewell. For the promise of the resurrection and the reunion is true, and we can look forward to the time when we gather together. Probably he's like me. Jesus promised we would not be the way we are now. I'm going to be taller. John will be slimmer.
Yes.
But he'll be there to dance to the Lord of the dance. So we gather to celebrate the presence of John in our lives. For he was a gift. Sometimes a gift that you didn't really want to unwrap. But a gift nonetheless, because he made a difference in the way we viewed each day. For he was a gift from God, and the days that he was in our lives are now and always will be precious. Join me in prayer. Gracious Heavenly Father, we commend John's ashes to the dust of the earth, for his spirit has moved on. It was a big spirit, a large spirit, for it fit him well. He could laugh even in the times when physically it was difficult. He loved you as he loved those around him. So our prayer this day, Lord, is that he has been accepted wholeheartedly and open-armed to the pleasures of eternal life. He believed in his Savior. Now he goes to be with him. Touch our hearts and bring to them that feeling of joy, the confidence in the ultimate victory over death through Jesus Christ our Savior. Amen. I got to look at the program. See. Okay. Why don't we turn to 378? And we'll sing first two and last verse, okay? 1, 2, and 6. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fear relieved. How precious did that grace appear, the hour I first believed. When we've been here 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've no last day to sing God's praise. The hour I first We're done. We liked it, and we sang 3.
And I played 4.
You played 4, yeah. 1, 2, 3.
We got a bonus.
You get more than your money's worth when you come here. Is someone, yeah. You gonna lead off, Sharon?
I'll do it in the middle.
Okay. Do I get one of the brothers? We're pleased to have John's brothers with us. We're glad that we could arrange the service to accommodate.
Hello, my name's Dave Anderson.
Here, Dave,
Oh, here we go. Thank you.
you bet.
All right, so everybody in the back can hear now. We're all getting up there where we... Sharon asked me to read a couple letters from her grandchildren to John, and she cut some excerpts out of them. Yeah, because I guess they were very extensive letters, but here we go. This is from his granddaughter, Kelsey, I'm sorry. I'm so happy you called me a lot. I miss you so much. You left us with so many memories. Although you can't be here with me, we're truly not apart until my final breath. You'll be living in my heart. You'll always made me smile with your jokes. You were the best. In loving memory of my grandpa, a true angel on earth. And then from Cassie, to a man who never saw me as anything less than a princess, I loved you more than the words can describe. A golden and beautiful heart stopped beating too soon. God broke my heart and proved that he only takes the best. I have saved all your voicemails so I can hear you say, I love you, just one more time, and have you call me squirrel bait. These two loving grandparents helped raise us. They are the reasons we hold on and love so hard. Grandma, you lost your person, and no one can fill that void, but I'm always just a phone call away. I love you, Grandpa, forever and always. I miss you more than I can even explain. Have fun fishing up there. Thanks for being my guardian angel. Love, Squirrel Bait. I do want to share, growing up with John, we were in a time back when we grew up with horses, and they were our daycare during the summer. And my folks would, my dad would drop us off at the place where we boarded our horses, and that was our summer. Our whole summer was spent playing with horses and chasing around. And I do remember my dad, we had a .22 rifle, and my dad would give us a box of shells, of 50 shells. Of course, John was 4 years my senior. And my dad would tell us, split them up and don't shoot each other. And I mean, that was our daycare. I mean, he was probably, 12 or 13, and I was 8 or 9, right? And so I would get 5 shells, and he would get 45. And that's the way it was. And but there were many a wonderful day chasing around, playing cowboy, and having a good time. So I just wanted to share that for you, Sharon. So we'll miss John, and
Wasn't his horse Tweedledee?
Tweedledee. Yep. Yep. So, thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Want to do this or wait?
Okay, I swore I was not going to cry, but I've been doing it all morning. But my biggest thing with John is that he never met anybody he didn't love. And he could never stay mad at anybody, no matter what they did. And he tried to teach me to be the same way. Kind of hard, because I'm not John. But he just loved everybody, and he loved to see people smile, and he loved to make them laugh. And he could be a jokester. But he was always so calm about everything. And even though the last 2 years were so rough, he never quit smiling. And even the people in rehab, he had all of them smiling and happy and didn't want anything sad. So I'm trying not to be. But he loved this church. He loved everybody in it. And he couldn't wait until he could get up and walk again so he could get back to church. I still sit in our favorite spot. So I miss him. The grandbabies miss him terribly because Cassie was always his favorite and she knew it. And he's just, I think because it was so unexpected. It wasn't like, I knew he'd been sick, but not that kind of sick. And when he first passed away, I said, God made a mistake. And Fabian very politely told me God doesn't make mistakes. So he's been my rock. He was John's best friend, and now he's mine, and I love him. He's been there for me. And I love the fact that the brothers were able to get down here and be with us. So, no more, because I'll start crying.
Okay. Anyone out there who would like to offer a remark? We've got a microphone we'll bring to you. Go ahead, Carolyn.
I just started coming to this church 5 years ago. But the one thing that really stands out that I really remember the day, it was Veterans Day on a Sunday. John could barely stand, but we had the Sunday school class did a program, and they walked around while he was playing military songs around carrying a flag. John stood the entire time saluting that flag. So I'm wearing red, white, and blue, my stars here for John.
Four words or four things I remember from John. Number one, he was a Navy vet. Number two is that he was a trucker, and I always loved the truckers. And number three, he was Jewish. And number four, he was a Christian. But I can remember so many times in our Bible study that, he was a pleasure to have with us. I think everybody that was in the class enjoyed having him there, either to pick on him or to listen to his jokes, or he did offer a lot to the learnings that we had. But I will never forget him. One memory I have to share, though, is that we would go out to lunch, to breakfast, and it seemed like when we went out to breakfast, we would both have our military hats on, we'd both be sitting there talking, and we'd have our breakfast, we'd have a great time. When it came time to pay the bill, we were told it's been paid for. I'll never forget that. It's never happened to me by myself, but when the two of us were together, we had great breakfasts, and we had great conversations. He's a man that, like I say, I really enjoyed having him in class, and I think all of us that were part of that Bible study, I liked having him there. He was just there. He was the base for the whole class. So it's memories that we will never forget. And it's nice to look around here. I've been away for a few years, and to look around and see that most of the people that were in that Bible study are here today. God is good.
Thank you.
I really appreciated John calling me a lot, and I think he called a lot of people. And whether he was in the hospital or rehab, he was always happy. And I miss him, and I love him, and I can't wait to see him again in heaven.
No, we can wait for that. There's no hurry. He'll wait for us.
And he was always talking with his toothpick in his mouth, even in Bible study.
I asked him about that toothpick one time. I said, have you ever swallowed one? He said, not at my discretion, something like this. But anyway, when I first met him, he said, I didn't get my hug. And I said, okay, I'll give you a hug. So I gave him a hug. Man, could he hug. And he was a delightful gentleman. I adored him, and I adore Sharon too. So God bless you, and God bless all of the family and friends that are here today.
Yeah, go ahead, Cindy.
Good morning. When I first met John, it was we were folding clothes at a rummage sale. And John held up these pants, and I says, oh, I have a friend that wears that size. Well, Sunday, John came and brought me this bag of all his shorts. It was so cute. And he was so excited to give those to me. And when Sharon says he loves somebody, he loved you. He did. He would look at you and smile and wave at you before service. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Anyone else? Yeah. Up here. She has a PS for us.
Yes, P.S.
It was so hard to understand why he was taken so early. But then I got to thinking about it. When I was younger, my parents had a boat. We were out on the Great Lakes fishing, and my mom always caught all the fish. My dad would sit there for hours waiting for a nibble. When John took us to Grand Lake to go camping, he took a pontoon out, and him and my son stood at the back of the pontoon fishing, and out of 22 fish, my son caught 2, standing right next to each other. So I figure, okay, my mom's up in heaven. She's with my dad, with Rudy, who God finally gave patience to fish more than 5 minutes in one place, and his dad. So God had to take John because my mom would have been catching all the fish, so somebody had to represent for the men.
Equal rights. It makes sense. Anyone else? One of John's favorite songs, Because He Lives, and we're going to sing it now. Number 364 in the hymnal. God sent His Son. They called Him Jesus. He came to love, heal, and forgive. He lived and died to buy my pardon. An empty grave is there to prove my Savior lived. Because He lives, I can face tomorrow. Because He lives, all fear is gone. Because I know He holds the future, and life is worth living just because He lives. How sweet to hold a newborn baby and feel the pride and joy He gives. But greater still, the calm assurance this child can face uncertain days because He lives. because He lives, I can face tomorrow, because He lives. All fear is gone, because I know He holds the future, and life is worth the living just because He lives. And then one day I'll cross the river, I'll fight life's final war with pain, and then as death gives way to victory, I'll see the lights of glory, and I'll know He reigns. Because He lives, I can face tomorrow. Because He lives, all fear is gone. Because I know He holds the future, and life is worth the living just because He lives. To say that John was a big man would be emphasizing the obvious. But besides his stature, besides his weight, he was a big man. He was big enough to look beyond his own troubles and see those around him and realize how much they needed to be loved. And he loved freely. He gave himself often into a relationship that may or may not be productive for him, but it was a labor of love to be one with those who were around him. I'm glad Sharon mentioned that he was quick to forgive, because I gave him a couple times that he needed to forgive me for my sake, not his. And he was willing, eager almost, to always be on the right page, to always be in the right part of the relationship. I knew John was destined to be where he is because he truly loved the Lord. Yeah, he had a good time in Bible study. Oftentimes, he was the one who got to poke you a little bit, who got to prod a little bit, who asked questions that you really didn't want to answer, just because he had an answer that he wanted to hear back, but he was willing to listen to your answer. John was a big man, took up a lot of room in life, takes up a lot of room in our hearts. We can't wish him back. The last couple of years were pretty tough. Spent too much time away from home in rehab, but always called from rehab to see how things were going. And it was always, how's everything going, Pastor? Not this is John and I'm hurting and I want somebody to cry for me. No, he wanted to know. He wanted to know if the relationship was still sound. He wanted to know if the feelings were still there, because it was important to him to know that his love was reciprocated. Oh, he didn't have to have all flowery things and didn't have to have cards and letters, probably liked them, but didn't have to have them. But he had to have that touch, that personal touch, that contact that made him the big man that he was. I bet he was pretty impressive swinging out of a truck. They wondered how'd he fit in that little thing. No, we talked, John's, the comments about John were oftentimes about his weight, about his size, but underneath, almost every comment was about his heart. For he had a heart for other people. He loved his granddaughters. He loved Sharon. Sometimes. Oh, no, I didn't mean, sometimes it was a little. And yet at the end of the day, you could smile with him. You could laugh with him. You may want to slap him in the morning, but you love him at night. John occupied a big space in the lives of those around us. He occupied a big space in our hearts. That won't change. There will be some times in the current Bible study when we may bring up John and his comments, because they're always meant with a little lighthearted look toward, are you sure? Are you sure? And the one thing I was confident about John, he was sure. He was sure in his relationship with us. He was more than secure in his relationship with Jesus Christ. We have no fear for John's place in eternity. We hope that he's going to greet us someday. I should have cued Lord of the Dance, but we aren't going to do that. My favorite, and you've heard it before, is of the image of a set of footprints on the beach. And then there are two sets of footprints. And then just one, and a very deep impression. And then footprints all over the place. And when John gets to heaven, he'll say, I know that I walked alone for a while, and you walked with me, but then you left me, because there's only one. And God said, no, that's when I carried you. And John said, okay, but what's all of this? So he said, that's when we danced. I know as much as he loved the Lord, he'll dance in heaven, because he was sure of his Savior. Very sure of his Savior. No problems, no worries. We can look forward to that reunion, whatever it's going to be. I keep reading in the book and I can't find the description, but it's going to be the best fishing in the world, the greatest golf course you ever saw. Well, maybe, yeah. Yeah. Going to be fine. And he'll be tall and slender and open arms. That won't change. I'm going to sing when the Spirit says sing. I'm going to dance when the Spirit says, I'm going to laugh when the Spirit says laugh. Because that's what John did. It's what I want to do. I will let him inspire me. For John was a big man. Well, we're going to sing. Why don't we stand for this one? Every time I feel the Spirit, number 404. Every time I feel the Spirit moving in my heart, I will pray. Yes, every time I feel the Spirit moving in my heart, I will pray. Upon the mountain, my Lord spoke. Out of mouth came fire and smoke. All around me looked so shine. Ask my Lord if all was mine. Every time I feel the Spirit moving in my heart, I will pray. Yes, every time I feel the Spirit moving in my heart, I will pray. Jordan River runs right cold, chills the body, not the soul. Ain't but one train on this track, runs to heaven and right back. Every time I feel the Spirit moving in my heart, I will pray. Every time I feel the Spirit moving in my heart, I will pray. We are different because we've known the Lord. We're different because we've known John. We can find peace in the love that both of those have showered upon us this day and always. So go confident in that peace, the peace that comes from being loved by the Lord, loved by John, loved by one another. Amen. Amen. Thank you all.
Thank you. It was great. I love what you said. Appreciate
Glad to do it.
it. Be good. Keep it.
That's yours. We have ours.
Oh.
Thank you. Very nice. Very nice.
David, thank you. Good job. Thank you.
That was a very good service.
Thank you.
Thanks, Pastor Jake. Very nice service.
And good congratulations on your move to Florida and getting out of the cold. And
Yes.
That'll be nice.
it's a great song.
It is.
You give her a hug for me on your way. When you put her on the plane, give her a hug for me.
I will. I will do that.
I hope she'll come back soon.
I hope November. We'll see. I think she's down a couple of pints and needs a little blood transfusion when she gets home.
She has to do that every.
So anemic. No, not usually, but she was in the hospital just before she
Yeah.
came down, and they gave her 5 pints of
Oh
blood.
boy.
She
So-
gets here and she's still low.
She's missing. He's losing it someplace.
They can't figure out where. She was in the hospital for a week doing all these tests.
And then they say, we don't know.
They said, we can't find it, go home. I know, and that was Bellevue.
Yeah.
You know, they have a great hospital at Overlake. They can't find it. So I don't know. Just don't know.
Well, we got you out of here in time to go to the airport.
Yes, that's right.
You knew it wouldn't be long,
No, it was nicely done.
even with an extra verse.